Welcome back to Paper Route, another saucy Monday. You see what I did there? Saucy Monday. We got Sauce Gardner coming on the second hour. Ashley Nicole Moss, my partner. We also compete from time to time. And then we got Corey in the cut, Corey Holmes,
Yes, sir.
legendary young producer wearing his Jimmy Butler shirt.
You know
I don't
the
know
deal.
what happened there. And then
A
we
whole
also
lot.
have, and I can't say his government name.
You
right?
absolutely cannot.
If I say Steven Jackson, okay, then he's gonna say we're not friends, we not homies. So that's Stack 5 sitting in the cut. Stack, what new shoes you have in the back, bro? Anything new?
Nothing new, bro. I've been on the go, and if I do have something new, I haven't unboxed them yet. So stay tuned.
All right, well, we got a big show today. So everybody is tapping in right now. This is Paper Route. We're live Monday through Thursday, anywhere from 12 to 2, depending on what we want to do, because we're not linear television. If we want to push back an hour to 1, we could push back an hour to 1. So we got a lot of basketball talk today. And then we also have Sauce Gardner coming at the top of the hour at 2 o'clock. So anywhere from 2 to 2:15. So make sure you guys stay tuned there. I'm going to throw it to Corey Holmes. Corey in the cut. What do we have on the docket today?
Yeah, let's get this thing started. So the NBA Conference Finals, they are set. And as you may know, the Miami Heat are represented on the East.
Dang.
But we're going to get into that a little bit later. And then like Brandon said, stay tuned for our exclusive interview with Sauce Gardner coming up at 2 p.m. Eastern time. But to start, guys, I hate that I'm even having to, shape my mouth to even say this, but Memphis Grizzlies suspend Ja Morant indefinitely after IG video surfaces of him with a gun, allegedly, right? So, like I mentioned, we got...
Allegedly? Hold on, what you mean allegedly?
Allegedly. I mean, I guess I don't want to come to conclusions, but it looked a lot like a gun, right? So, like I mentioned, we got a tweet here from ESPN, like I mentioned, suspending Ja Morant from all team activities after a video that appeared to show him holding the gun began circulating on social media. This was Saturday night, right? It was, I guess, a friend of his went on IG Live. You know, they were in a car listening to music and whatnot, and we caught a glimpse of Ja Morant with a gun. Stack, I got to ask you, after this, what's likely to happen to Ja Morant?
You know, I honestly don't know. I was one guy, that actually went to bat for him because I've been a guy who was throwing a lot of money at a young age and made a mistake. You know what I'm saying? But I'm totally different from the person I was. And, I think a lot of people commend me on the changes I made, after the mistakes I made. It's not what you do, it's what you do after. And what you do after is not do the same thing again, is what he just did. So all the people like me that was taking up for him that said it was a mistake, he's a young kid, we can't go to bat for him this time. This was the dumbest thing he could have done. This is a moron move. His parents should be embarrassed. His friends around him that like we said from the last incident wasn't his friend. So it's just a fucked up situation. But you got to really just put everything in his lap and let him deal with it. He got to deal with everything that comes with it because he done the same dumb thing again that he act like he went and got help for. Just like I told y'all, he didn't talk to nobody and get no help that fast. You know what I'm saying? There was no way. That was a publicity stunt. But this is all on him, and can't nobody defend him. And I definitely won't stand up and defend him because that was the dumbest thing you could have done.
Listen, I'll say this, Ashley and Stack and Corey. I think we all did the right thing, on the first situation. The reason why we did the right thing is because none of us are perfect. We're all human.
Thanks.
We understand that. And what typically happens when you are a public figure, the media tears you down, and then the fan base follows, and then they tear you down because they think that's the right thing to do. But you can't throw rocks at a glass house. And Stack, Ashley, Corey, we all know this, that no one's perfect. Everybody got some shit going on. Everybody got skeletons in the closet. I don't care if you're holding a gun. I don't care if you're I can have a whole laundry list of things that people struggle with. The reality is when you are a professional athlete, you're on a major platform, you're on the biggest stage, and there's millions of people watching you every single day. So what we did and what you did initially, Stack, is absolutely right. Now, with all that being said, I'll say this, right? And it's really piggybacking off of what I said before. For me, I had anger issues. Hell, I may still have anger issues, okay? I talked to a therapist. I seeked help. Actually, I continue to seek help, right? I continue to lean in when I need to lean in, whether it's a brother or a sister or if it's a professional when I need it, right? That's what I deal with. I needed help. Stack, you hit it on the head. Ja Morant, and I'm saying this because when Jay Cutler did this to me, when he called me out publicly, I didn't get it. Because you're supposed to be a brother. And how we're raised is what happens in the house stays in the house. Or if you right or wrong, I got your back. I got your back. But best believe when we sit at the dinner table or we sitting on the stoop outside the house, we're going to have some real conversations. That's what my dad did for me. That's what my mom did for me. That's what my neighbor Davon Allensworth did for me. That's what Sean and Alexis did across the street for me. And they continue to do that for me when I make mistakes. Okay? But, man, there's something special when you get held accountable publicly. And what you said earlier, Stack, is exactly that. Ja Morant doesn't have any problems. Ja Morant went to IMG Academy. Ja Morant got mom and dad in his life. Ja Morant's dad is sitting there courtside every single day, and I don't give a damn if he's wearing glasses, if he's wearing jewelry. I don't care if he has flavor. That's our culture. But his dad is in his life, and you're embarrassing your dad. Ja Morant is immature. And just like I said a couple weeks ago or a month and a half ago, it's not about it's not about if something's wrong. It's more so about when is he going to get it right, and what is he going to lose. Last time I talked about losing $100 million in career earnings from having anger issues and making the wrong mistakes. Ja Morant is just immature. I don't know what's going on with him, but it's going to take time. And when he looks up, he's still going to have a phenomenal basketball career. He ain't killed nobody. All right. He ain't going to jail. But what's going to end up happening, he's going to continue to lose deals. He's damn near on the cusp of losing the Powerade deal. They invested $10 million in the whole campaign that they had to push back. They was probably waiting until this offseason. Now they got to push back in probably another year. They may drop him. So he'll continue to lose deals. And he'll also lose money on the court, right? People are going to be afraid to invest in Ja Morant because of his immaturity. So that's what it's about for me, Ashley. This won't be the last time, unfortunately, that we're hearing about Ja Morant doing something boneheaded, right? And that's the journey for some people. You can name so many athletes, so many artists, and so many people that's made mistakes. He's only 23. And this is the path that he chose, and hopefully he can get back on track sooner rather than later.
Yeah, I mean, I was with both of you guys. I took up for him as well. I took a little bit of a different approach, when it first came out and he put out that statement, whether it was factual or, not. When somebody says that they're not dealing with X, Y, and Z in a healthy way, my first jump reaction is to go ahead and believe them. So for this to be the results of that alleged, therapy session and whatever it is, and him, soul searching just a couple of weeks later or X amount of weeks later is unfortunate. I'll say this about this. You guys hit a bunch of incredible points. And for me, once is a mistake, twice is a choice. And now he's making a choice. And whether or not that choice is going to be detrimental to his career as a whole, I don't think that his basketball career is going to take a monumentous hit. I still think he has a career in this league. I still think he is a generational talent. I still think he's young enough to go ahead and change the course, change the trajectory of the decisions he has made and where those decisions have led him. But I think there's a deeper situation here. He needs to figure out why being a basketball player is not enough. Because I think that we can all, speak to this. And Brandon, you can speak to this. Stack, you can speak to this. And anybody who comes from a hood or from an inner city, Ja Morant and the talent he possesses, there's a bunch of Ja Morants in the hood. There's a bunch of Ja Morants at the parks right now. The difference between Ja Morant and those guys is opportunity. The difference between Ja Morant and those guys are bad decisions. And Ja Morant has been given a gift. He has been given an opportunity to take his talent and manifest it. Take his talent and not only manifest it in terms of what he does on the court, but also take his talent and manifest it into what he can do outside of the game. He's drawn comparisons to one of the greatest players to ever play this game. That's Allen Iverson, one of my favorite players of all time. That is a level of talent. That is a level of accolades that guys only dream of. And you have been given this opportunity, and for whatever reason, you keep squandering it because you're not fulfilled with just being a basketball player. And only he can figure out why that is, why he has to be a rapper, why he has to be a gangster, why he has to be this, why he has to be that, why being John Morant, one of the greatest players we have seen in recent years,
and who has the face of the NBA,
who has the potential to be an incredible talent in this league and to reach the pinnacle of Allen freaking Iverson, why that is not enough for him. And I can't answer that. Nobody here can answer that. Only John Morant can answer that. No. And only John Morant has the opportunity to change that.
I think we may be able to answer it. We've seen this story play out, Stack, right? Like, you know, like I said, for me, I had some challenges and some issues that I had to sit down and talk to somebody about, right? And then there's immaturity. And then there's also how we, what's the word I'm looking for? How we celebrate, and you'll help me find the word, Ashley or Corey or Stack, how we celebrate that culture coming from the hood. Because that's what we know. That's who we look up to, right? Like Ja, like I said before, he went to IMG Academy. Right? Like, look at some of his younger videos when he was in elementary school and middle school. Ja ain't like that. Now, could his people be like that? Absolutely. But he ain't like that. But what I'm saying is we see so many times where, what they say, athletes want to be like artists and artists want to be like athletes. We think that's cool. We think sitting on the block is cool, right? And unfortunately, a lot of times it backfires on us.
But there are a lot of athletes who have stepped into the world of music and vice versa that aren't living what Ja is portraying to live.
They got him, Ash.
But the thing is like, listen, before I started college, when I graduated high school, my dad told me this, and it will stick with me for the rest of my life. He said, there's nothing sadder in this life than wasted potential. And John Morant has the potential to be great. And he keeps squandering it to try to be something that he's not. You're not NBA Youngboy. You're not Big Meech. You're not, John Gotti. You're not these guys. And for whatever reason, he is not okay with just being John Morant when John Morant is more than enough. There are a million people, like I said, more talented than him when it comes to this sport in the hood right now who would trade places with John Morant in a heartbeat and put everything that he's portraying to be, put it to the side.
Right.
And there comes a point, I understand he's 23 and we've all done stupid things when we were that age. I'm not going to go ahead and negate that. But unfortunately, there comes a point where you have to grow up faster than maybe you're ready to, whether it's because you become a young parent, whether it's because you lose your parents, whether it's because you are given opportunity that can change your life and you have to focus and tunnel vision on that. John Morant is in that situation. Yes, you're 23 years old and you're bound to do stupid things, but you're also given an exceptional opportunity that requires you to grow the hell up and grow the hell up quickly.
So listen, for me, Stack, I didn't get out of this phase until I was 26. But go ahead. I had a question for you, but go ahead. You look like you wanted to jump in.
For me, bro, it just shows a lot the things that he's doing, the unnecessary shit he's doing. That just shows people like us and the guys that raised me and the guys that really from the neighborhood that you're not really from that. Because the guys that I know in the NBA, like Zach Randolph, you see where we still at. We still living good, staying away from all that. Yeah, we made mistakes as youngsters because we come from it and we were blessed with a lot of things that we didn't grow up and we didn't know how to handle. But when we made mistakes, the guys that's really from it, you don't see us back in the hood doing those things because we capitalized. We capitalized up our blessing. We knew that we had an opportunity to get out, and that was the whole reason why a lot of people around us was hustling. It wasn't to be seen as a gangster. Mm-hmm. It wasn't to be recognized in the hood. It was to make money. It was to take care of our families. It was to get our family out the hood. So a lot of us got it, and the ones that really lived that life, the ones that really struggled, are the ones that got out and didn't turn back. But you got a lot of people that don't come from it that glorify that life because they feel like their money can buy for them and they can be around it. I grew up around it. That's why you don't see me live being in the hood all the time. I go back and visit. I go see different people, and I go to different hoods, and I go show my love to show that hey, I'm from this area. You can be where I'm at, but being here and staying here ain't gonna get you there. So
Absolutely.
it's ways to handle it, B and Ash. But a lot of guys that do stuff like this, you can tell that they ain't come from it. They trying to be something they not.
And we had this conversation just last week on our show when I said, anybody who is from the hood does not want to being from the hood is not a badge of honor. Being from the hood sucks. Being poor sucks. Not having money sucks. Not having food on the table sucks. Not being able to go to the playground without worrying about it getting shot up sucks. That's not a way to live. People who come from that don't wear it as some badge of honor. People who come from that are trying to get out of that by any means possible, which results in things like dealing drugs, which results in things like joining gangs, because it's a way to remove yourself from a toxic environment. So for people to go ahead, like Ja, who does not come from that, who was blessed to not come from that, is a blessing to come from an environment that you don't have to worry about where your next meal is coming from, where you don't have to decide between heat in the winter or gas to go ahead and put the stove on so you can make food. Like, that is a blessing to not come from that. So to have everything given to you, and also to go ahead and create a recipe for success and reach the mountaintop that only 1% of ball players will ever see. Going to the NBA is an anomaly. It does not happen often. Like I said, there are guys in the hood more talented than John Morant who will never see a fraction of his success because they are not blessed. They don't have opportunity. They get caught up doing the wrong things. To take that and that to not be enough for you is sad. It is unfortunate. It is frustrating, and it is sad. And only he can figure out why it's not enough.
And Ashley, the guys from the hood, when they say they from the hood, like the ones that are really from it, they don't wear it as a badge to brag about it. They wear it as like a trophy. Like, I made it out.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I overcame the obstacles that a lot of guys I grew up with and around that they didn't. I took advantage of the opportunities that a lot of guys that didn't get. That's the way we wear it. We don't wear it as, oh, I brag because I struggled. I brag because I lost my brother at a young age. Nah, that's not how we do it. If you really from it, you just proud that you was in the small percentage that made it out of that hellhole, and you wear it a different way.
Absolutely.
So let me ask you this, Stack. Jaw sitting in front of you right now. You know, what type of conversation are you having with him? Take us through.
First thing I tell him is to go look in the mirror, because for you to be doing all these things like this that you know that ain't beneficial, that you know that has nothing to do with the way you were raised and the way your mom and dad treat you and the household you was raised in, for you to do all these things, you need to go look in the mirror and make sure you love what you see, because these things are saying that you don't love yourself, bro.
Right.
That's basically what they say. You don't love it. You being selfish. Look at the mirror and tell yourself you're being selfish, because doing these things is jeopardizing your child's livelihood, your family's livelihood, and hell, everything you work for. That's doing things that's saying you don't love yourself because you're trying to be something you're not. I think you need to go back to the kid at Marquette that was playing basketball, that was trying to get to the NBA, and try to find that kid the appreciation, the way he was playing the game, and how humble he was. Right now, you're trying to be something you're not. You're caught up in the lifestyle that you like seeing and the music that you hearing, but you never shot a gun. You've never been shot at. You've never seen somebody bleeding with their head bust. You know what I'm saying? You never done that. I've never killed nobody, but I know people who have, and I know their life's never been the same. So to try to live that life, I think he just needs to look in the mirror and understand who he is, where he at, and what he can lose, and only he can look in the mirror and get the answers. I don't think I can tell him nothing else after that.
And as we both know, Brandon, you can speak to this, Stack, you can speak to this. Real gangsters aren't just waving their guns around just for the fun of it. If you see a gun, that means you're about to get shot. So, like, let's not, whatever rap video he thinks he's imitating, that's not real life. The only time you see the barrel of a gun looking at you is because you're about to get shot. Nobody's just waving it for fun. That's not how it works.
And let me add to that, Ashley. Real gangsters, which I call like forget that. Let's just say bosses, right? Whether you're in the league, you know, you got money, you know what I'm saying? You hire a team.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
you rarely ever seen.
You know what I'm saying? That's what a boss do. A boss, they don't get their hands dirty. What a boss do is put soldiers around them. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Even where I'm at right now, Like I move different, you know, and what I'm realizing is because I move solo, like I gotta start having a little bit of help, you know what I'm saying, when I go in certain areas. And I never had to do that.
V. You stay out the way. You're not putting yourself in positions to have to handle bullshit.
That's right.
You know how to move. You don't
Sometimes.
need
and that's the crazy thing.
because
and
you know how to move.
And Stack, that's the crazy thing, bro. The crazy thing is like I was a knucklehead, like at the crib, like I'm getting in, like I'm beefing with my friends and my family. That's how I was getting in trouble. You know what I'm saying? But when I went out, I was smooth. You know what I'm saying? Like I would go out and how I diffused it, like I had street sense. Like if I seen, like living in Denver, a lot of people didn't even know this. Like the Crips and the Blood scene, the whole that scene is different out there. Mm-hmm. And so I would run into some Crips and they be on something different, and I'd be like, oh man, don't worry about it. Meet me at the bar, bro. Everything on me. You know what I'm saying? Like you got to know how to diffuse. You got to know what type of situations you in. You got to know when to leave. You know what I'm saying? So Jaw is interesting. This is what I would say. I don't think that works, Stack. Like I asked you, I said, what would you say to him? I truly believe, because I this is what worked for me. I think you need to sit down. We need to somebody, maybe it's his father, sit in a dark room with him with a little light and slap the shit out of him. Like serious, Stack. I know I'm gonna sound crazy. This is the mental health guy, but you got to understand how to meet people where they at. Like,
man, taking that game of basketball away from him when he know what that feel like. I felt that. And being suspended 30 games from doing what I love, that shit crushed me, bro. So if he loved the game like I think he loved the game, if they suspend him for a large amount of time, that's really gonna touch his soul.
I don't know. He needed a slap too, bro. I feel like someone that'll love him. Like if my brother came to me or my pops came to me and, as a grown man and just said, "What you doing?" Bow.
You know what, Brandon?
I'd be like, "Oh snap!"
I agree with
wake me up.
I agree with Stack though, only because I would like to believe that the first time this happened, his dad had a heart-to-heart with him, and if that doesn't work.
That's the point, though. All that, hey, this is what we need to do. He know that.
I'm not. We can't go ahead and make assessments on how that conversation went down. He could have very much grabbed him by the collar and yoked him up and been like, "Yo, what the F is wrong with you? What are you doing?" I don't know how that conversation went, but all I'm saying is, if your family is not enough to check you, and you go ahead and you make an active choice to do the same thing again, sometimes the only thing that can go ahead and knock you in some sense into you is taking away the one thing that brings you the most eyes. And for him, that's basketball. That's being paid through basketball. Because it's not enough. It clearly is not enough to be spoken to like an adult, because if it were, he wouldn't have made the same decision again. All
right, like Stack, you weren't on this on paper route when we had this discussion. Me and Ashley went back and forth about investing in veterans, right? Like PJ Tucker, the Haslams of the world, right, that can come in and hold things down. So let me ask you guys this question. I'm going to start with you, Ashley. How much would PJ Tucker be worth to the Memphis Grizzlies in this situation?
I don't think Ja would listen to PJ Tucker. I don't think he would give a damn what he had to say. That if he doesn't listen to his own parents, and this is an assumption, if his parents had a conversation with him, which I would like to believe that they did, his parents seem like they have sense, they seem like they're good people. If his parents were not enough to knock some sense into him, why do you think PJ Tucker, who at the end of the day he doesn't know from a hole in the wall, is going to be able to tell him about himself? He's going to be like, "Shut up, old man, get out my face."
Well, go ahead, Stack.
I make 10 times more than you. Get out my face.
I see you shaking your head. You agree with Ashley there? Y'all tend to always agree.
Nah, but I definitely agree with her on that. I don't think he's the guy. I love PJ and he plays hard, but his leadership is on the court. His leadership is not really in the locker room and outside the locker room. His leadership is on the court. So for me, the perfect guy that would be good for him is not in the league no more. And his jersey is the only jersey that's retired in that arena, and that's Zach Randolph.
And
Haslam would get him in check though.
Yeah,
too.
Haslam would. That's what I'm saying.
Haslam would go toe to toe.
You know why I say that too?
I was just thinking of a Grizzly player.
Yeah, Haslam would go toe to toe with him. And listen, like, what's up? You want to fight? Because we can fight.
Some people said that what I said was a little too aggressive. But Stack, have you ever been in the locker room, and things haven't gotten out where it got serious in the locker room? Guys held each other accountable and had to be separated. Have you ever been in the
I didn't. Me and one of my best friends in the whole wide world, Baron Davis, somebody I talk to every day. me and him got into it a couple of times in the locker room. I remember a time in Charlotte where Charles Oakley came in and stood in front of me ready to fight me because I had an attitude or something I did in the game. So I've been through it a lot, but we never went to blows because the goal and the respect was the same. We all trying to come together to win games. We all love the game the same way. So it never got to the point where we disrespected. Now, if somebody would have stood up and threw a punch, yeah, it would have got out of line. But sometimes it came close to that. Sometimes it came pushing, but it never got out because as a whole, as a team, our frustration was the same. Our feelings was the same. There was no need for it to get out, but it definitely happened a lot.
All right. Well, I guess we got to push forward. Ashley, do you see any questions in here or any comments from everyone in the chat that we should address before we move on?
No, I think everybody's kind of in agreement on this John Morant situation, and it's unfortunate. Like I said, nothing worse than wasted potential, but he has 100% of the power to keep it pushing and change the trajectory of his career thus far, and it's only he can go ahead and make that choice. So we'll stand by and see. What's up, Woo? We got a question?
Yeah.
Oh.
What I did see in the chat was a lot.
Can we hear you?
Yeah, actually you can.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Well, I think people can hear me.
Yeah, your mic's not up, though.
Basically, it's not up?
Oh, I can hear you. There you go.
Okay. No, I saw a lot of people asking this question. I wanted to see what you guys thought was, what do you think about the generation that has to put everything online?
You don't have to put everything online.
But what I'm saying is that's Ja's generation.
No, that's their generation
disagree.
that's their generation by choice. They choose to
disagree.
put everything online. I understand that his generation had the internet. They grew up with social media. You know, I'm the generation before that where it really didn't pop off until high school maybe.
Hold on, time out before we pass this along. Studio P, he said in the chat, he said, trade Ja to Detroit. We need more shooters. I'm sorry, is it too soon?
Brandon, be serious for like 20 seconds.
All right, go Stack.
The thing is you choose to put all your business on social media. It's not a choice. I understand growing up with the internet and growing up with social media has changed the childhood of this next generation. I get that. But it's also a choice to keep things private that don't need to be public. No one's saying that he can go ahead and promote his brand, promote his game, promote his highlights, promote that. But you don't need to be on IG Live with your homeboys in the car. And to go ahead and know you're on IG Live with your homeboy in the car and still take your gun out is absolutely asinine to me. It doesn't even make any sense. You weren't caught by TMZ. The paparazzi weren't in your bushes. You willingly knew your boy was on IG Live doing whatever y'all were doing to whatever it is you were doing it to, and still made a conscious decision to go ahead and pull your gun out. That is a choice. That is not a mistake. I'm sorry.
I think even Corey mentioned it earlier too. He was like, you could see Ja like he's aggressively trying to grab
It doesn't make any
to
sense.
make sure his
gotta
gun was
do it.
seen by the camera. Like, that's what bothered me about it.
I don't know about that.
That's what it looked like from the
wounds
video.
like that are the worst, man. Self-inflicted wounds like that, like you like she said.
No pun
you can
intended.
tell, even with the camera before he turned it and showed Ja again, you could tell Ja was trying to get something, trying to get it out the short in the camera. So it's like it's self-inflicted wounds, man. You can't really say nothing or feel bad for him at all, bro. Like for you to do this shit again, knowing everything you jeopardized. Yeah, this is all on you. Can't nobody help him on this.
Yeah, you gotta do better, John. But all right, we'll move on. We'll move on. So the Phoenix Suns, they were the first team I wouldn't even say over the weekend because it was last Thursday when they were eliminated from the second round. But we learned over the weekend that the Suns' former head coach, right, Monty Williams, is being dismissed, right? So they're parting ways with him over the last 3 years, which I thought was an interesting stat. Best winning percentage of all coaches. So, I mean, of course, they fall short of their title hopes, but, you know, he won games there. He won games. And as of right now, Bucks, Pistons, and Raptors are already emerging as potential landing spots for Coach Williams. But, Stack, I want to ask you, was it the right move for the Phoenix Suns to part ways with Coach Monty Williams?
Absolutely not. You bring this team together at the end of the year. I don't care if you got KD or not. Chemistry still matter. I don't care what stars you have. Chemistry still matter. They still need time. Even I said, yeah, if they lose, they was gonna give this team another year minus CP3. I said that give this team another year to kind of have a whole season of training camp and all this together to see if they can pull it off. I didn't think they was gonna get rid of the coach. I think he was the right coach for the job. But you know how they do. When teams come together like this, they quick to go and find a white coach somewhere around, just throw him in that position so he can get all the credit. I don't care. Man. Yeah, I said it. They do it too much. Every time a black coach comes into the league, he get the worst team in the league to start his career off. 300 under 500. Excuse me, under 500. Coaching. He got a sorry team, and he can't. His team won't win till he's like 6 years in coaching, where he finally gets some stars. But coaches like a situation like this, they always find a white coach somewhere around, just like they did Steve Nash in Brooklyn. Gonna throw him in the spot where the team is really already basically together. I think Monty Williams is a great coach, and that's why as soon as he in the next day or two, you're gonna see him coaching somewhere else. He should have been having that job. They did Monty wrong. They know they shouldn't have done that.
Yeah, I mean, it's always interesting to me that you forego the GM or anybody in the front office and you go straight to the coach when the coach's responsibility is to make the best out of the players that are available. He's not drafting the players. He's not trading for the players. He is literally being given X, Y, and Z and told, make this work, make this win. So instead of looking at the people who made those decisions, you go to the coach. And we're not just talking about any coach. We're talking about, like you said, last 3 seasons, most winningest coach. We're talking about coach of the year, Monty Williams. Yeah. And I understand that people will say, well, you can't get blown out 30 plus back-to-back playoff seasons at home. Okay, but let's actually dive into that. Last season, Chris Paul was hurt. You had Devin Booker out there by himself. Yes, they had a better bench, but you still had Devin Booker out there by himself. Right. Fast forward to this season, you don't have a bench, so you absolutely have zero depth. Chris Paul still hurt. DeAndre Ayton is not this guy that everyone thinks he is. And then you have Kevin Durant, who was only there for half of season, and you want him and Devin Booker to go ahead and take this team to the promised land. It makes absolutely no sense. Jesus Christ himself could not make this team win a championship as current constructed. So this ideology that's in the NBA, where it's let's give these coaches whatever we want to give them, and whether the goal is obtainable or not, let's go ahead and put this unrealistic expectation on them to go ahead and make this team work that is fundamentally broken is asinine. And to keep scapegoating coaches is asinine. And it's going to come to a point where coaches aren't going to want certain jobs. They're going to go ahead and be apprehensive about joining certain franchises because all they do is rotate coaches every time their insane goal is not met. The Phoenix Suns are dead wrong for this. There is nothing Monty Williams could have done to make this team work. There was absolutely nothing there. That is not his fault. That is the GM's fault. That is the front office's fault for thinking that this was going to work, and they're scapegoating him, and they should be ashamed of themselves.
Do you think his relationship with DeAndre Ayton might have played a part in them parting ways with him?
No, because DeAndre Ayton and him and Monty were able to at least coexist. Yeah. But again, it's let's look at what that issue was. DeAndre Ayton was unhappy with his role on a team that was fundamentally broken. This team has been fundamentally broken in some capacity for 2 seasons. How is that Monty Williams' fault? He's not asking for these players to be brought in. You're bringing them in and telling him, let's make this work. Now, if this was a different conversation, if this was, no shade, but if this was Doc Rivers and he blew multiple 3-and-1 leads with all the talent in the world, then we could have this conversation. But this is not what we're talking about. We're talking about a coach who was given pieces that, yes, phenomenal pieces, but the team was fundamentally broken. There's nothing you can do about that. And it's a shame that we keep scapegoating. I mean, look at what they did in Milwaukee.
Right, yeah.
Like, what are we doing? And you think Ime is going to be any different in Houston? That team underperforms to whatever weird goal that organization thinks that they can hit. He's going to be gone too. This revolving door of coaches so that the GMs and the front offices can go ahead and back away from an explosion they created is such bull. I don't respect it.
And Stack, of those teams that I mentioned, Bucks, Pistons, Raptors, which team probably makes the most sense for Monty Williams right now?
If I was him, I go to Milwaukee. I'll go down there and coach one of the best players we've ever seen in the history of the game. I'll go down there and coach Giannis. I'll go down there and try to help Giannis get a championship. I think he's a great coach for that. And I think that's the best spot for him. You know, for him to continue to get the most of his great coaching and being able to get somebody to lead his team that's basically ready for a championship right now. I think Milwaukee's the place.
So let me ask you this, Stack. I don't understand this, man. Like in the NFL, you know, you can have a okay coach, and they're going to get some time, and they're going to get more chances. In the NBA,
hello, Jason Garrett.
It's like the Bucks got rid of.
I couldn't Jason Garrett was like herpes. I could not get rid of that man. Like it was insane.
Come on, Ashley, why you had to do that?
It was unbelievable. It was like, bro, what do I have to do to get rid of him? It was insane. It was chance after chance after chance. My God, leave me alone.
All right, you went too far. Big. Hey, what movie is this? Let me see if y'all know this. Biggs, you're gone too far.
I don't know.
You're going too far, Biggs. You're going too far. Shatas.
Shatas.
Oh, yeah. Shatas. Right. Shatas. Right.
My dog.
That was it, too.
Hey, yeah, listen, Jaw. Hey, I bet Jaw don't know that one. Hey, only the real ones know that one.
Real Shatas. Y'all man don't know Tetang, you know?
Yeah.
Take the what and leave the what?
Right. Hey, seriously, yo, some of the best movies are hood movies, boy.
Absolutely.
I forgot. Oh, so what I was saying was, like, I don't get it, Stack. How do y'all let in the NBA? Why y'all be letting good basketball coaches go so fast? The coach in Milwaukee, why was he like Coach Bud? Why was he let go? And then obviously Monty too. Like, why is he let go? Like, what is this culture around letting coaches go so quickly?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think Bud had built a culture there, you know, a championship winning field, and they felt like if he's not bringing championships in, then he's, you know, underserving. I mean, he's under what's the word I'm looking for?
Underperforming.
Underperforming. Thank you, brother. He's
Gotcha.
underperforming. If he's not bringing the championship in to Milwaukee, he's underperforming because that's the standard that Bud, you know, came in with coming from San Antonio and other places. So that's how they feel. I feel Bud is still a great coach. You know, they probably just want to come with a younger feel, a different feel for him. And, you know, I get that because they do have a pretty young team, a young core. And, you know, they probably just want to make a change. But it happens a lot in the NBA, you know, and they recycle coaches. That's the crazy part. I can see if you was firing a coach and bringing a fresh new coach in to get a new start to see if, you know, they recycling coaches. And that's what I don't understand. Just like, what's his name? Al Harrington calls him Mike D'Antoni. Like, he continues to get jobs, and he hasn't done won anything. So, you know, if they wouldn't recycle these coaches, for me, if they gave more players coaching jobs, as you see Donovan Ham, Tyronn Lue, like players that actually play the game, they do a pretty good job coaching. They just need more opportunities. They shouldn't have to go to college and coach like Stackhouse and Juwan Howard, these great minds that were great players in the NBA. They shouldn't have to go to college first to get coaching jobs to show they can coach in the NBA.
I got a question for you, Stack.
Opportunities as well.
I got a question for you, Stack. You talking about jobs. With all the jobs you have, right? Like, you're in boxing, you're in basketball, hell, now in paper route. You're gonna be talking a little football. You got so many things going on in the community. Can you not afford better internet because you lagging a little bit?
I hate you so much.
You lag.
Now he's frozen.
Now he's frozen.
Now he's giving you the death stare.
Yeah, right. We lost Stack. Stack making so much money. Stack sitting in a closet that is at least there gotta be pushing $500,000 in that closet. Tell me if I'm wrong. Tell me if I'm wrong. Right, and my man can't afford no internet. That's a problem, man. We be investing in the wrong things. I'm just messing with him.
You know what? I will say this though, also, and Brandon, you can speak from a football perspective, but I feel like this constant, and this was one of the biggest issues for the New York Knicks, and that I was critical of before we got Tibbs, was that the Knicks lacked stability. from multiple angles, whether it was coaching, whether it was front office, whether it was certain players. And it's hard to develop a recipe it's hard to develop success as a team, as a unit, when the most important pieces are constantly changing. By changing out these coaches every time they make a mistake, every time a season doesn't go the way that you thought it was going to go, instead of looking at the reasons why. It's one thing to just be able to say, oh, we didn't win a championship this year, it was a failure. Okay, but why didn't you win a championship this year? What was wrong here? That was it because you gave this coach? Now, if you give a coach the Monstars and a great bench, and he still's not able to win you a chip, and you got 0 injuries, okay, it's probably the coach. But if you give him scraps and 2 really good players, what the hell is he supposed to do with that? Right. So my issue is that everyone looks at the end result of things instead of looking at what got us there. And I have to believe that it is going to start hurting teams and their chemistry when there's a constant revolving door of coaches. And Brandon, from a football perspective, if your head coach changed every single year, if your wide receiver coach changed every single year because you had an off year, or this receiver had an off year, or the team had a bad year, what does that do to your development? What does that do to the receiving core? What does that do to the team? How can you go ahead and win when every year you're getting adjusted to a new coach, a new wide receiver coach? It doesn't make any sense.
Actually, I keep telling you to know who you partner with. That was my career.
I know that was your career.
No, but I would say this: it hurts your upside. It hurts your development. It hurts your potential, right? Like for me, and I feel like I obviously contribute to not reaching my full potential. Some people may look at the numbers. I would say this: a lot of wide receivers dream of having the career that I had, 13 years and all the the statistics. But I felt like there was more team success out there for me, winning big games in the playoffs, in the postseason, potential participating in Super Bowl. So I definitely feel I participated in that. We were talking a little bit about this with Ja Morant earlier about how we can get in our own way. But also when you're talking about the teams and the organizations, I never forget Coach Sean Payton for the New Orleans Saints. He was with the New Orleans Saints then. Now he's with the Denver Broncos. One offseason, I hit him up and was like, Coach, talk to me about some of the teams that you think that will have a good year this year. And he said, Brandon, there's only 4 or 5 teams. And this is going into my 2015 year. He said, Brandon, there's only 4 or 5 teams every year that has a chance.
Wow.
And he said, because everyone else, they just get in their own way. And then I experienced that like 2 months later, where the Jets, we just came off a phenomenal year, overachieved, 10 wins. And then we had a really good offense. Myself, Ryan Fitzpatrick, Eric Decker. We had Matt Forte, and we had some others, Quincy Enunwa, some younger ones. And so that offseason, they're going back and forth with Ryan Fitzpatrick over $2-3 million. The market for a starting quarterback was 20-something million. They didn't want to give him $12 million. And that destroyed our entire chemistry and continuity and everything that we were building the previous year in that offseason. So a lot of times, having a revolving door at these key positions, it keeps your franchise at the bottom of the barrel. That's what it is. Stack your back. Your back.
I want to pose this question to you. Brandon answered it from a football perspective, but I said that eventually this scapegoating and this just let's blame the coach when we don't reach X instead of looking at why we didn't reach X is going to start affecting the team and team chemistry and team development, because you can't have a revolving door of coaches and expect that your players are going to be easily adjusted to that depending on the coaches you bring in and things like that. Do you see a future of like that in the NBA if this scapegoating doesn't change?
Yeah, I mean, because a great coach is only good as his players, right? Phil Jackson had Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, Shaquille O'Neal. That's why we talking about Phil Jackson is one of the best coaches. He wouldn't have did that with nobody else. So the players are the coach is only good as his players. So when you quick to get rid of a coach or quick to blame it on the coach, you need to look at some of these players on your team and realize, okay, yeah, this guy, oh yeah, he can't shoot. They back off him. This is the NBA. Why he can't shoot? You need to start looking at your players, right? And not just put the blame on the coach. Yeah, it's the coach's job to lead them. Yeah, it's the coach's job to get them to buy in, to play together, and to all buy into one common goal, and that's winning the championship and to play under the same system. But at the same time, these players have to be mentally prepared, have to take care of their bodies, and have to have the will and the want to go out there and win these games. So you're right. A lot of this blame needs to be on the players because the coaches only could do so much.
I mean, if we look at the stats, Corey, every single coach, I think in the past, I want to say 8 years, 7 years, my math could be off there, minus Coach Thibodeau of my New York Knicks, that has won Coach of the Year, has been fired from their job.
Mm-hmm.
Put that into perspective. Coach of the Year, meaning you were the best coach that NBA season, has lost their job. That is absolutely insane. That makes no sense. So basically what you're telling me is my reward for being the best coach in the NBA at any given season is to lose my job because you put an unrealistic expectation on me and my responsibilities because you screwed up in the front office. Like, put that into perspective.
Yeah.
That's insane.
And then,
It is.
and then a lot of those coaches, they don't really have a lot of incentives, but, in their contracts, they win Coach of the Year. That's their ticket to getting the big bucks. That's their ticket to getting those big contracts. So a lot of those coaches, they hang their hats on winning that award. And that's the same way as the players do when they try to be NBA All-First team. That can boost their contract up, damn near $50 million. So, the coaches look at it the same way. So I think people need to give those coaches the same respect in that aspect.
Hey guys, I got to make an announcement real quick. This is a terrible announcement.
Oh no, I don't like terrible announcements.
This is usually what happens in media. Sometimes, things doesn't always go your way. If I'm being honest, I feel like I'm like 50-50 right now. Usually, the big receivers, I'm 6'5", 230. Well, jump balls, right? Like out there, I'm X wide receiver. I run out there, stack. Even if you was at DB, that's 80%. If stack on me and they throw a jump ball, that's 80.
Whoa.
Ain't no 50-50 ball. But right now I'm like at 50. I'm back to normal, like 50-50. And the reason why I say that is because I got some terrible news for everybody. Let me do this on Instagram too, so I can do a one shot. Bam, done. All right, I'm gonna make this announcement.
I done had enough bad news.
I know. I got to make some bad news right now, and this sucks. Right?
Oh my God.
No Sauce Gardner tonight. Today, no Sauce Gardner. I just got a call from the Jets. Something came up on their side, and we're not gonna have Sauce. We're gonna have to reschedule the Sauce Gardner.
That is a bummer.
That's a bomb. That's a, what'd you say? Bummer.
Yeah, that's a
I
bummer.
can't speak today. For sure, bro.
Yeah,
like,
it's a bummer.
Sauce is special. Sauce is special. He's a great guy. Had an opportunity to talk to him a few times over the past year, and I was looking forward to it. But we'll reschedule it, and we'll bring you guys Sauce probably in training camp. How does that sound?
I like it. Too much sauce.
Okay. All right.
Too much sauce.
Too much sauce.
Too much sauce.
Sounds good.
All right, we'll move on.
All right, guys. Yeah, let's move on to the Game 7 matchup that we saw yesterday afternoon where the Celtics handled the 76ers by a score of 112-88. I mean, they did their thing. You know who else did their thing was Jason Tatum. He set an NBA record for the most points in a Game 7 matchup, right? It was actually previously 50 points. Steph Curry did that just a few weeks ago in their Game 7 matchup versus the Kings. But, yeah, Jason Tatum upped that to 51 after his performance on Sunday. But Joel Embiid, right, our MVP, he spoke to the media after the game, and we actually wanted to take a look at a clip from that press conference. Let's take a look at it.
You can't win alone. I can't win alone. Me and James, we just can't win alone. That's why basketball is played 5-on-5. So, we just need everybody to just, try to keep finding ways to get better, and, we'll be fine.
So yeah, that video got a lot of reactions, right? We even had Damian Lillard's reaction here. He reacted to it and was just like, huh? And that's kind of my reaction as well, right? But like, Stack, what are your thoughts on that?
You can't say that. You just threw all your teammates under the bus, right? You threw all your teammates under the bus when you say a leader is not going to go and say, we can't do it by ourselves, me and James. That's basically what he said. Right. He threw all his teammates under the bus, and if you're gonna throw somebody under the bus, you gotta throw James under the bus for his defense. His defense is terrible. He can get crossed over in the phone booth. Oh. Right? So you straight up, like you have to take accountability. He's supposed to go up there and say, I'm the MVP. I didn't play well enough for us to advance to the Eastern Conference Finals. I put all that on me. I'm the MVP and left it at that. But saying that, bro, as good as he is, you know, I don't think he thought that out. That wasn't the right thing to say. And you got a lot of your teammates looking at you a certain way right now because you basically threw all of them on the bus. Now, is he lying? Hell no, he ain't lying. He's speaking facts. They need some help. B. Marshall, depth.
Yeah.
Hit him with the word. Hashtag depth.
I'm just saying that's what they need. It was shown that they didn't have it. They got bullied. They got beat up game 7. Everybody knew Tatum was gonna have a breakout game this series. Everybody knew it. Why not game 7? He's been a star player all year. I'm not surprised, but him saying that, bro, that was just the wrong choice of words, and I know he wish he could take that back.
Hey, listen, I thought I had you guys, Ashley. Everything he was saying, right? Until he said, "Oh, but was he wrong?" No, he was right. Because I was about to say checkmate. I was about to say checkmate to both of y'all because you had Rudy Gay also come out and say question mark the tweet and the whole the video, and obviously you already talked about Dame Lillard, Corey, right? So like if those two were supposed to get it done, then my theory around having 2 to 3 superstars would have been right, and y'all would have been checkmate. But you saved yourself, Stack. You saved yourself.
No, but you wouldn't have ever.
Yeah, but if Stack said, you know, he was wrong, he can't say that. They had enough to get it done. Then he would have contradicted himself.
Well, I will say, reading the.
Well, Philly.
Go ahead, Stack. Go ahead. No, get him.
No.
Go ahead.
Hey, I'm just saying, they didn't have that one player to help change the game on Philly. Robert Williams changed that whole series. Well, because Al Horford was able to guard Embiid, and you had another 7-footer to come over and help. So having depth definitely won the series for Boston.
Oh my goodness! All right, I'll give y'all that.
I will
proceed,
say,
Ashley. Proceed, Ashley.
I will say, looking at the full quote of what Embiid said, that was only a part of it. There was a full quote. He did say, "We have an unfinished job. We haven't won anything. I think we got a great chance to win. Obviously, 7 games and having the chance to close it out at home, which we didn't do. Blah 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 blah." So the full quote is a little bit more in depth and less side eye. But I will say, you know, still him being the MVP, that's not MVP talk, Embiid. Right. That's not what an MVP says at the end of a game, right. Or especially a game 7 that he lost, when it was very much a possibility they could have gone ahead and closed out this series in their favor. That's not MVP talk. Jokic wouldn't say something like that.
Mind you, he did have 15 points, 8 rebounds, and James Harden had a triple single with 9 points, 6 rebounds, and 7 assists. You know?
Not only that, but I believe the stat is that Joel Embiid is the first MVP. First MVP to not make an Eastern or Conference Finals. Every MVP has at least made a conference final. When they have won MVP. I believe that was the stat. So that's also not in his favor. But you know what frustrated me the most about that game wasn't so much that they lost. It was the fashion in which they lost. Like, Embiid looked checked out. Harden looked checked out. Harden looked like he was thinking about Vegas, Miami, wherever the hell he was going to spend the offseason. It just did not look like this was a team that was in a game 7 with the potential to win it. They looked like they checked out probably midway through the first half, if not right in the third quarter. There was no fight. There was no type of grit. Like, Corey, listen, we'll get into it, but what you can say about the Knicks is they fought for 4 quarters. Yeah, there was no fight in the 76ers, and that's what was frustrating to watch.
You heard? Why you laughing, Stack? Why you laughing?
She actually set you up right there.
Yeah.
No, but I'm saying is it's one thing to lose. It's one thing to lose It's another thing to lose like that. And that's frustrating to watch, especially when you're losing on a team with the MVP.
Yeah, I know you're throwing to Corey. I know if you.
No. I was just using him as an example.
Well, I wanted to ask you though, Stack. What happens with Doc? Does anything happen with Doc after this year?
Man, Doc out of there, man. I mean,
oh man.
And you know what? And not even just because of this series. It's because his records with being up 3-1.
Yeah.
Like you can't have that many L's on your record being up 3-1 in the playoffs, man. With the teams he's had, like it's just a bad look. I like Doc, you know what I'm saying, and I don't think that the person they're looking for is still on the bench. Sam Cassell, he's been down for a coaching job. He knows.
We're losing you, Stack.
Man.
We're losing Stack right now. We will send Georgia Power to his house.
Not Georgia Power.
To reboot his internet. I think all of the energy from those shoes in that closet is making his internet connection lag a little bit.
Well, Brandon, while we wait for Stack to get it, go ahead, defend your 76ers. Because if I remember correctly,
here you go.
I think I was the only one on this show to pick Boston to win the series.
Yeah, you were. And let me say this.
So go ahead, defend Philly.
I need you to take notes here, because this is what you don't do, and other people like you, meaning experts on television. This is what y'all don't do, right? You don't say, the other person was right, and I'm giving you your flowers. You were right.
I tell you.
You've been in your bag.
I tell you when you're right. It's just that you're hardly ever right.
You have been in your bag for 3.5 weeks right now, and I'm proud of you. And you said it, and you're talking high level basketball, and I'm gonna start listening here soon, right? Because what I was leaning on, which I feel like a lot of people miss, was the will of an athlete, the compete of an athlete, the storyline, right? Because I know what that does to athletes. Like, that's what we live off of. Think about all these clippings behind us. Can we do a wide shot? And can we get these clippings, right? You have, what's this kid's name? Daniel Dimes. I don't know what that headline says.
Daniel Jones?
You have Danny Dimes. Yep, Daniel Jones. Then you have Kobe Bryant up there, a Laker legend. Then you have Geno Smith up there, says something believe. And you have all of these storylines.
You forgot the biggest one behind you.
What's the biggest one?
Tom Brady.
Oh, Tom Brady, right? We read these clips as athletes, right? So what I'm banking on is James Harden looking at this and seeing himself up there. James Harden changes the story of his legacy. James Harden goes from the Charles Barkley discussion to now being considered one of the greatest players ever. Joel Embiid, he wins MVP, and then he wins Finals MVP. Those are the things that we dream of as athletes, right? And that gives you extra energy. That makes you work harder. That makes you dig a little deeper. We saw that with Jason Tatum on the other side. Jason Tatum, it's a record, right?
Yeah.
Steph Curry broke it a couple weeks ago. Now Jason Tatum goes out there and he does the same thing. He drops 51. He had 25 in the first half, right? Jason Tatum rose to the occasion. He's been a no-show here and there throughout the postseason.
I wouldn't say a no-show. He's just been inconsistent.
Okay, I say here and there.
He shows up. It's just not always in the fashion.
That's a storyline. He is writing his story. And so look, what I was expecting was for James Harden to write his story.
Why?
I was expecting for Joel Embiid to finish his story.
My question for you, though, is let's take Embiid out of the equation. I want to ask you more about Harden. You have, and it could be, some people may say it's a good quality. Some people may say it's a bad quality. It depends on who you ask. You have this way when it comes to players that you think that they will magically change what they have shown you throughout their entire career. With DeAndre Ayton, you think that he was supposed to just wake up and be Olajuwon.
That's right.
Wasn't going to happen.
That's right.
He's DeAndre Ayton.
You're going too far. Why do you have to use Ayton? But keep going.
Because you said when we talked about the Suns, you named the 4 players, and Ayton was one of them.
That's right.
Ayton's never been that guy. You expected him to all of a sudden become this guy. Same thing with James Harden. Yes, we had vintage performances from him here and there, but I'm a firm believer that a leopard doesn't change its spots. And James Harden has shown us that he is inconsistent when it matters the most.
That's right.
And I don't think that was going to change just because we as fans, or you as someone who put your money on the 76ers, or because the 76ers needed him to change it. This is who he is.
Yeah.
This is who he has always been.
Right.
And that doesn't change overnight.
Yeah. And so this is what I want to say first. The Ayton comment, you went too far. Big as you're gone too far.
I'm sorry.
I never said Ayton was supposed to be a dog. What I said was, when you have these 4 guys, there's no excuse, right? CP3. We didn't debate if Chris Paul was going to be available or not. I just said they have these 4 guys. There's no excuse. They should have enough to beat the Nuggets, right? And that's why I rolled with them. Ayton, I wasn't asking Ayton, and it was a miscalculation here. This is a low basketball IQ take that I gave you. I wasn't asking Ayton to be Olajuwon. What I was asking Ayton to be was Ayton from a year ago, 2 years ago, before they had Kevin Durant. Give me 20 points a game, 12 rebounds. That's what I was asking. Maybe the task that the coach gave him was, Ayton, don't worry about the offensive side. We're going to focus on the defense. We want you to try your best to slow down Joker, okay? Or maybe it was inexperience, immaturity on Ayton's side, where now you have the offense going through the top 3 guys, CP3, KD, Devin Booker, and now you got to be a guy that got to get it when you get it, right? I don't know, but he didn't show up on the offensive end. CP3, to your point,
got hurt
again, right?
I mean,
We ain't debate that though. We weren't debating if Chris Paul was going to be available. What I said was, you have CP3. He looked healthy. He looked phenomenal. Actually, you see, I'm over here trying. But yes, I do expect athletes, right, to rise to the occasion. And so, like, you are right when it comes to James Harden. He has let us down in the postseason, year after year after year after year when he had his opportunities. But I'm expecting for him to break through. I'm expecting for him to have the Kirk Cousins moment. Oh, Kirk Cousins can't win a primetime game. He wins a primetime game. Oh, Patrick Mahomes can't beat Joe Burrow. Patrick Mahomes beats Joe Burrow. That's the story that I want to see written on Paper Route Tribune or whatever our paper is called. That's what I'm expecting. James Harden let us down, yes. But I truly believe, great athletes rise to the occasion. We saw that with Jimmy Butler this postseason. We talked about that on Paper Route last week.
But Jimmy's not a good example to use because
he
always
does it. He rises to
that.
the occasion. Okay.
Jimmy is that guy.
So do I need to concede again?
No, I mean, what I'm saying is that I agree with you. The will of an athlete, that's very real.
That's right.
But I think that there's also parameters to that.
Jason Tatum,
though, has done it before. What I'm saying is that what you're saying about the will of an athlete is not inaccurate. I'm not discrediting that, but I don't think it applies to everyone. James Harden, he may have moments where he turns back the clock and you say, "Oh, it's vintage Harden." But we have seen him consistently, season in and season out, not be consistent. So to expect him to all of a sudden flip a switch because the 76ers are this close to making it happen is giving him more than he has shown to be capable of. And that's the only thing. We're not talking about somebody who has done it and maybe had a bad season or injury. This is someone who just has never been able to do it and doesn't seem to care to want to do it.
He cares.
I got
Does
a question
he?
for y'all.
He cares. I
got a
think he
question for y'all.
cares.
Who was the bigger disappointment? Was it Embiid and Harden's Game 7 performance, or was it KD and Booker's Game 6
It was
performance?
Embiid and Harden, absolutely.
Yeah.
Because Devin Booker and Kevin Durant, only people who get caught up in the names and the glitz and the glamour expected that to work right out the gate. If you remember one thing I said,
if CP3 actually didn't go down, they would have won that.
No, I still don't think that's true. I personally still don't think that's true. I'm somebody who said from the beginning when this team was put together, when everyone was saying championship or bust, I said that's an unrealistic.
You said that.
I said it's an unrealistic expectation because one, KD joined this team after the All-Star break.
That's right.
Healthy. It's not enough time to gel as a unit. Also, they are lacking a bench. That's fundamentally this team is broken. So while, yes, I agree it's playoffs or bust, they should absolutely make the playoffs. To expect a championship out of that team was irrational. The 76ers and Embiid and Harden, they should have performed a lot better than what we got
expectation.
from them.
Right.
And the fact that they didn't, that is a disappointment.
Well, listen, I am disappointed in KD, right? There's a little bit of disappointment with KD.
Of course, because
K-
it's KD and Devin Booker.
No. Devin Booker, I'm excited to watch how he carries this postseason into this offseason, from the offseason into next season.
Mm-hmm.
We could potentially be talking about Devin Booker as the face of the NBA, or not the face of the NBA.
Oh, man.
We could be potentially talking about Devin Booker as the best player in the NBA. That
Wow.
was insane. I don't know if he's stepping into.
Oh, wow.
He's already in his prime. How old is Devin Booker? What year is this
He's
for him?
26.
Well,
He's still young, right?
26, 27, I think, maybe.
But Kevin Durant, he was supposed to give him more. We talked about this. I think it was it Game 5 where he was dribbling the ball off his leg. I said he was sluggish. We went back and forth with trying to find the right word.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't look like KD, right? But Embiid and James Harden was I wouldn't even say Embiid and James Harden. I would say Doc Rivers. If you watch that last game, Game 7.
Well, they were saying the question was duo, who was the bigger disappointment?
Correct. So Corey, I'll throw it back to you. But I'm not disappointed in James Harden and Embiid. I'm disappointed in Doc Rivers.
You're not disappointed in James Harden and
you
Joel.
see what they
Wait,
did?
you
He went
watch
against
what
a
they did
34
last
year. He
night?
went against a 34. Yes, I did. He went against a 34. It wasn't last night. It was at 3:30. So it was yesterday.
I mean, the game ended at 6, so
Yesterday.
6:30.
So listen,
how can you not
how
be
you get out coached by a 34-year-old guy?
How can you not be disappointed by what you
a
saw
little
them
bit,
do?
but-
How could
but
you not
the-
be disappointed when you saw them do in Game 6?
The adjustments that the Celtics made on the defensive side. Now, on the offensive side, you couldn't stop what Tatum was about to give you, and then everybody else was making their shots when they were wide open. But on the defensive side, what they did to Embiid, like you're supposed to adjust to that, and they didn't. And to me, that falls on Doc Rivers.
But
More
how
on Doc
how
Rivers.
can you not be disappointed in a duo who had the entire season together?
Mm-hmm.
And you could be more disappointed in a duo who only had a few months together to try to figure each other out and then got thrust into the playoffs. I'm not saying what KD did wasn't disappointing. I agree with you, it was. I'm a huge KD fan. He didn't look like himself. So it was a disappointing KD performance.
Yep.
But I can't say that I'm disappointed because my expectations of them were not that high to begin with. I didn't think that was a championship team. Joel Embiid and James Harden had
You thought they were a championship team?
I didn't think they were a championship team. Joel Embiid and James Harden had an entire season together.
Yeah.
This man is fresh off of an MVP, and you lose like that. That's a bigger disappointment.
For sure. But I'm saying that because I feel like, and I hate to pile on here, but Doc Rivers didn't make any adjustments. Like that's in moments like this. This is when you need help from your coach, right? Because I truly believe it's really NBA is a player-led, league, right? NFL, you need help. You need help from the scouts. You need help from the coaches. But you talk about
Were you
one or
gonna
two
say NFL?
players.
You need hoes? Is that what you were gonna say? Was it good?
No.
Is that what you were gonna say? It sounded like that was what's coming out of your mouth.
But on it, like in the NBA, one or two players changes everything for your organization, right? Like, and we can go down the list where guy drafts right, and now you're a contender, right? And so I truly believe this was a game for Doc to rise to the occasion, and he didn't. He was out-coached by a 34-year-old guy. That's what happened. That's the story. But I'm not saying that James Harden and Embiid didn't disappoint. I'm not saying that. I just think the story is more Doc Rivers than them. That's all I'm saying.
Well, let's shift the focus more to the Celtics. Is this the Celtics year? Is this the year they're going to make it back to the finals and get it done?
I think it's Celtics Denver that are gonna face off.
Blasphemy.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be.
How dare you say that? It's Lakers, LeBron.
I don't know if the Lakers beat Denver personally.
Break that down for me.
Why?
Yeah, or are you kidding me? You don't like. All right, well, tell me this first and then break it down.
I mean, when we
Nuggets in
no,
5,
when
6,
we
7.
When we preview that game, I'll break it down a little bit more. I think that'll probably be tomorrow's show because they play tomorrow, right? Yeah. So I'll save that for tomorrow's show. But if I had to make an early prediction, I go Denver in 6. I'm leaning. I think this is Denver's year to go to the finals. I think that Miami Boston's going to be a series, but I think that Miami stood a better chance of winning the series if it were Philly. I think that Philly wouldn't have an answer. I mean, I think they would have had an issue with Embiid just because he's Joel Embiid. But I think the rest of the team would have been fine with the 76ers as a whole. I think that it would have been Miami probably in 6 games. I think that Boston, just because I've seen that series go, and if you look at this series, there's a lot of similarities. They don't have Tyler Hero again. Last season, they didn't have Tyler Hero either when they faced Boston. I think that the Celtics can win that series in 5, maybe 6. I think Miami was better suited against the 76ers. Boston's a problem. So
we got Stack back.
Oh,
Wow.
Hey, Stack.
Do we actually?
My bad, man. My internet tripping.
You got Celtics beating Miami too?
Yeah, it might be in 5.
Oh.
Nah, but Boston has woken up. You know what I mean? They definitely woke up. This series woke them up. They feel the energy shifting. They know this is their chance to win a championship. They like to match up with anybody in the West, you know, but because they're real confident in this series against Miami. They have the better team, the more experienced team. I think they should definitely run over Miami. I'm not saying they should look over Miami and think about the finals, but I think this is their year to win it.
For Miami to have a chance, and we can move on to the next game if you want to preview that one, Corey in the cut. Jimmy Butler's going to have a legendary run again, right? And actually, we talked about this. Yeah, exactly, right?
He can do it. He can do it.
That's right. Mm-hmm. That's right. And the thing that's special about Jimmy is Jimmy make other guys better as well, right? So Jimmy can go out there and give you, average 30-something points like he did in was it the first round or second round?
Yeah.
And he's also going to make guys better. Like I love his leadership. I don't know if there's a better leader than Jimmy Butler as far as like getting guys around him to perform better. Like you got LeBron out there. Who's better than Jimmy Butler right now?
Jimmy Butler, he just can't have games like he did at Game 4 where he's so lackadaisical and just look like he's just going through emotion. He needs to be that killer Jimmy Butler every game of this series. He can't take a game off. Some games he's real passive. He don't shoot as much. He don't come out as aggressive. He has to be that dog that we know he is from the tip of the game, every game this series, in order for them to even have a chance to win the series.
But you don't see
which is a big ass. That's a big ass.
But you don't see that as part of his leadership skill, though, Stack. And I could be totally off here. I'm not trying to get into another debate with you and Ashley because you guys always team up against me. But like getting other guys involved, that's what I mean by that, right? Like Jimmy knows he can't. What you mean? Who? Anybody out there? He know he can't do it alone.
I think the only thing that is going to make this a series, I don't think this is going to be a sweep. I don't even think it's going to necessarily be Celtics in 5. I have 6 only because the Celtics have a bad habit of quote unquote playing with their food. We've seen them do it in 2 series now. The Celtics sometimes don't always come out with their foot on the gas. Sometimes they play down to their competition. Sometimes they're out there and it seems like they don't even start playing the games the third quarter. And I think Miami is a team that will take advantage of that. So that's why I'm saying I believe it goes 6. I think that this is I think they are surging at the right moment where they are prime and ready to go ahead and win a series against Miami. And I think the same thing about Denver. And I know people in the chat are like, oh, you said that the Lakers were going to lose to the Grizzlies. Actually, I didn't say that. I said the Lakers were going to beat the Grizzlies. I did say the Warriors were going to beat the Lakers. Clearly, I was wrong about that. But I do think that the Denver Nuggets are going to beat the Lakers. And I think we get Nuggets, Celtics in the finals.
Okay.
That'd be interesting to see. All right, so moving on to the Western Conference, right? We saw the Lakers lock in their matchup with the Nuggets. We kind of briefly talked about it, but they sent home the Warriors in 6, right? I wanted to ask you, Stack, what impressed you the most about the Lakers in that series versus Golden State?
Once again, depth. The young guys being ready to play. Lonnie Walker really showed me something. As a young kid, being on the team like that, you want to be out there. You want to play. You want to show your skill. You want to make the big contract. And especially playing on a team with a guy like LeBron James, you want to be out there to show that you can play with him and get the opportunity and get this experience, right? When you're not playing, it can get frustrated. I've been there as a young guy playing in San Antonio. I want to be out the court, but the coach is not playing me. You can get to pouting like Jordan Poole's doing in this series. You can get to pouting and being in the funk and not being ready to play. I got to salute Lonnie Walker for not being that guy. But when his number is called, for being out there coming, because that was the biggest game in the series for them. And Lonnie Walker really captured that win for them. So guys like Lonnie Walker, guys like Austin Reeves, guys like I don't know how to say his name, Ichimura, whatever. I can't really say his name, but all those guys came in and played great roles. Vanderbilt, all these guys came in and played great roles to give. Even Russell had a big game. He started off with a big game with a big scoring night. All these guys gave the Lakers an opportunity to be successful in this series, and it's even to still be playing. It has a lot to do with their depth. I ain't taking nothing away from LeBron James. He is great, one of the best ever. AD is playing like the AD we all know he could be on both ends of the court. We never seen AD play defense and offense like the way he's been playing. Now, he hasn't seen a real big man yet, so we'll see how he fares against a guy like Jokic. But
didn't he see him in the bubble?
This team.
The bubble.
Yeah, they saw him in the
That was-
bubble.
that was-
Yeah,
Didn't
they
he
saw
see
him
in
in
the
the bubble.
bubble?
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm one of them people that wasn't high on the bubble.
really?
Yeah, but he's seen
Even
him
with
Yeah, I
though.
wasn't high on the bubble.
rematches.
I'm saying that Stack because I don't see how AD in this bag and LeBron being LeBron, how they don't win this. And again, Ash,
Yeah, Jokic wasn't two-time MVP then.
AD wasn't.
You
You
see
just
what
said I'm gonna
Jokic
use
is
your words.
doing?
I'm gonna use your words against you. And AD wasn't playing on both sides of the court like this either, was he?
He was showing spurts. He's doing it consistently now. That's the only thing.
I mean, Jokic is like you ever see a white refrigerator?
Yes.
Yeah.
He is a white refrigerator that can hoop. The man is unathletic.
Like, where you going with this?
He's
Like,
not.
what?
He's not. It's honestly like watching him play is so impressive to me because it's like he is not athletic.
Yeah.
He is not this physical specimen. He's not like he's not an Adonis like a LeBron or something. He's not. He's like a white refrigerator. Like it's just, but he can attack almost every part of the game and he's unstoppable. It's absolutely impressive
got
watching
more
him
moves
play.
than anybody.
We have never seen somebody play like this before. I personally haven't. It's absolutely incredible to me.
Let me ask y'all a question. I'm gonna start with you, Stack. Is Joker better than Akeem Olajuwon?
No.
No.
He's thinking. He's still thinking.
He got to win. He got to win more he got to win a couple championships. And he got to dominate. Akeem Olajuwon, one of the best shot blockers we ever seen. Now, I think they're on the same page as far as moves. They both have a lot of moves in their bag, footwork, unbelievable. So they have that in common. But I think he got a couple more years and a couple more accolades to catch a dream.
Stack, I don't want to be ignorant here, but I like to be ignorant. I like to get messy at times.
Oh, God.
But I'm not trying to do that right now. But did you play in the NBA when Olajuwon was still playing?
That's okay.
I'm not trying to call you old, but did you play in the same, like, did y'all have any crossover?
No.
No, okay.
Why would they have crossover?
I don't know if he was in. I don't know if he. Yeah, I don't know if he might. I don't know if he was in Toronto then. I don't know. I played with Jordan. I played against Jordan. So,
hey, y'all always say this on All the Smoke. I think y'all always ask guys when they come on your show. I think maybe that's the knuckleheads. It's like, who bust your ass? Pause. Is that knuckleheads? Like, who welcomed you to the NBA?
yeah, that's knucklehead.
That's knuckleheads.
I can't see Stack saying that.
Yeah, that's knuckleheads. Yeah, do you think that's a pause moment, Stack? Do you think the knuckleheads should say pause when they do that? When they ask that question?
Yeah, no question.
Shout out to the knuckleheads. They're one of they've been doing.
Shout
They've
out
been
to my bros.
They've been in the podcast game for a very long time.
For everybody down there.
That's right. They're with Players Tribune.
I believe so. Yes.
Yeah,
Yep.
they're with Players Tribune. They're doing a
Yep.
phenomenal job. But what was your who bust your ass, Stack? And I'll say pause.
When I first got into the league, who gave me buckets? See, I said buckets.
Bucket.
Jordan. You just said Jordan.
Nah, he didn't give me buckets. He didn't give me buckets. I think the person who gave me buckets was Oh, that's tough. Cause I was doing my thing. I think the first person to
Vince
give me
Carter?
buckets
Did
was
you play against
probably-
Vince Carter?
Yeah. Vince had some battles, but I think the first person just served me was Kobe, bro.
So what made Kobe special, bro, as far as like his game and why was he tough to guard?
He not taking no plays off. He on both ends, on defense and offense, he not taking no plays off. He want the ball at the end of the game. He not shying away from it. Like his will to win is what separates him from damn near everybody that came through the league. His will to win, and it showed on the court. He just attacked on both ends. He gonna give you 30 and try to guard the best player on the other end. So we respected that.
Right. Let me ask you this question. Last question on this topic. When we talk about Kobe, you guarding Kobe, what was your game plan going in against Kobe, right? Like, did you have a game plan? Did you see any weaknesses where you thought you could exploit it?
Nah, he ain't got no weaknesses. Kobe, one of them guys. It's a whole bunch of guys in the league. Tracy McGrady, guys like that, LeBron James, Kobe Bryant, guys that can score, like scorers. You can't, Brandon Roy, guys like that, you can't really come with a game plan for them. You just got to make it difficult. They can dribble both ways. They got a lot of stuff in their bag. They can shoot. You know what I'm saying? Kobe can make any shot on the court. So you just got to try to make it difficult for them, play hard, and try to make it difficult. But there's no game plan for them guys. You really got to hope to just have an off night.
That's my GOAT, Kobe Bean Bryant. I love him so much. Corey, who's your pick for NBA Finals? I mean, obviously Miami because you're a homer, but give me a.
Nah, but honestly, I got a rematch of the bubble finals, and that's. Yeah, so I sound like a Heat fan, don't I?
I mean, you are a Heat fan, so.
But no, look, I mean, I think if the Heat, because I mean, we saw them take it to 7 last year, right? And then we saw them beat them in the finals. Like, they can beat the Celtics. They have the formula. So, I mean, it's just going to come down to obviously Jimmy taking over when he needs to take over, having that feel of the game, knowing when he has to have a busy first half, or when he needs to just close the game out. And then all the role players, they just got to shoot well. So if we shoot well and Jimmy plays well, we know we're going to play hard on the defensive end of the floor. So I think they have a chance. The Heat fan in me wants to say, of course, Heat Lakers, but I'm going to go with Heat Lakers. I'm going to stick with that.
Corey, what do we have next? Because, I like to get off topic here and there. Do we have any? What's next? What's the next question before because I have I think I have a phenomenal question. Phenomenal topic.
So my question, we were actually going to go back to like that Lakers and Golden State series and whatnot, because I want to know what's next for the Golden State Warriors, right? Is this going to be, when we start to see the team break up, right? Like, what's next for Golden State? Is the dynasty over?
Is the dynasty over?
They stole the last one.
What do you mean they stole the last one?
That's the last championship.
What do you mean they stole it? Let's hold on. Hold on a second. What do you mean they
Celtics?
What do you mean they stole it?
Celtics, the Bucks. There are some better teams out there. Remember, Steph got hot. He went on a crazy, crazy run the last quarter of the year, right? And then went on a binge when they got in the postseason. But all year they were struggling. They stole that, Ashley. Come on, nobody, and I got to fact check. We got to fact check this, Will. It's going to take some work, because what Ashley going to say, before the season, I picked the Golden State Warriors to win. You were the only one in the world.
I was on Sports Illustrated. I was at Sports Illustrated at the time.
The only one in the world that made that prediction. The only one.
I wasn't the only one. My dad also had the same prediction, if that counts.
We got to get pops on this show.
I mean.
That's why I said that.
I was at SI at the time, and it's well documented that I had Warriors during the
Suns.
I had Warriors in 6.
The Suns was the better team in the West going into that year.
I had the Golden State Warriors from the jump. I made that prediction back in November, and I also predicted they would beat the Celtics in 6 games. That's also well documented. I can pull up both.
Dang, you heard?
I mean, they don't call me Astrodamus for no reason.
What'd they call you?
Astrodamus.
Dang, that's crazy though.
I did.
Like, cause I just feel like sometimes you just look at the analytics and the stats, but like you really notice. Dang. All right, go ahead. Is the dynasty over? What they call you? What they call you?
Astronomist.
Astronomist. Tell us.
Listen,
Tell us,
you,
Astronomist.
You have Steph Curry, so the dynasty's not over. I think he is playing incredible basketball, and I don't think he's slowing down.
36, 37.
He's not slowing down anytime soon, though. He's hitting a stride in his career that's absolutely incredible. Mm-hmm. The biggest question mark for me is not Klay Thompson. It's how are they going to add more pieces to their bench? Because if you look at the Warriors championships that they won, they had a phenomenal bench, which really helped out their starting five or more so their big three. My biggest question mark is Jordan Poole and Draymond Green. How can they coexist? Can you even afford to keep them both? And if you do keep them both, how can they coexist? Mm-hmm. Corey, I know there's a quote. You can go ahead and get to that quote.
I was going to jump in and say, to your point, right? This is via Logan Murdoch and The Ringer. When Jordan Poole was asked about his relationship with Draymond Green, this is what his answer was. He says, I don't have an answer for you. It's just been business. It's been basketball. So, I mean, yeah, to your point, there's uncertainty there, right? If there's still tension, if they could still move forward and be cordial. So, it's another question mark, right? Stack, did you chime in yet? What's your thoughts? Is the Golden State Warriors dynasty over? We don't have Stack? Oh, no Stack. Yeah, man. It's
that. See, okay, so that there is concerning to me because, listen, you don't have to be best friends with everybody on your team, right. And you're not going to have a great relationship with everybody on your team. You're not going to go out to dinner. You're not going to hang out. You're not going to banana boat it like CP3, Carmelo, LeBron. It's just not going to happen. Mm-hmm. But you should be able to coexist on the court for the one goal. And the one goal is to win championships, to win games. The fact that this relationship between Draymond and Jordan is so tarnished. Now, I'm not going to sit up here and say that, he's still... I'm not going to sit up here and say that he doesn't have the right to feel how he feels about what went down between him and Draymond. Mm-hmm. But I am going to say that if it is affecting him still, to the point that he is unable to coexist with Draymond and work towards the goal of winning games, that is problematic. Mm-hmm. And I don't know how you can fix that because it happened. Draymond apologized publicly. He probably apologized privately. He probably apologized multiple times. Yeah. And I get it. I'm not saying that you should ever be best friends with him. That's probably not going to happen. Mm-hmm. But it should not get in the way at this stage in the game. It didn't happen last week. It didn't happen a month ago. It should not get in the way of the end goal. And I don't know if that's part of it.
Yeah, what you mean? Yeah, it definitely gets in the way of the end goal. Somebody slap you in the face, hit you in the face.
If you are unable months later.
Yes.
Hold on. Months later to even coexist with this. I'm not saying to be best friends. I'm not saying when you go to the bench and he's on the bench, y'all are chatting up and Kiki, so what did you do? Or, over the weekend. I'm not asking you to do that. But if you can't coexist as teammates, because you're here, he's not going anywhere to win games, and it is still engraved in your head, that is an issue, and that is going to be a problem for this team.
Astronomist, did I say it right?
Yeah.
Astronomist. First off, I have the answer. That when I said that I had the answer, that was your cue to say, okay, Brandon, what is the answer? Okay, maybe I can become Brandon Dom. How you say Brandon?
Brandon Domus.
Brandon Domus. Mm-hmm. You get rid of Jordan Poole. I think the person that you absolutely need is Draymond Green. For those same reasons that we talked about, like the PJ Tuckers of the world and what's going on with Ja Morant. It's like, who's that person in the locker room that actually gets things cracking and holds people accountable? So you get rid of Jordan Poole and you find a way to get better there. He imploded. But what happens is the chemistry is built off of the court. The chemistry is built off of the field, right? And that is the problem. Guys can go out there and they can still, like he said, keep it business, right, and do their job there. But that's not what makes teams special. What makes teams special is when we land in the city, we are going out to dinner together. We're playing videos together, right? Like, that's what makes teams special in any sport. And so that's what's missing between those two. And both are big pieces to this organization. Ashley, I can see Draymond Green looking for a new start Maybe even he finds his way to the Lakers,
One
right?
of them
with
has
his
to-
buddy with LeBron.
One of them
I
have-
can see him do that, but if I'm the organization, I prioritize Draymond Green. I don't care if he has another 2 years left, but it's hard to find guys like that. It's hard to find leadership. It's hard to find dogs. It's hard. What he does, Ashley, you got to put him up there with the Dennis Rodmans of the world. I don't know what the category is. We have to define the category, but he is a legend when it comes to being scrappy, playing defense, and putting the team first on the court. That's what I'm prioritizing. I can go get somebody that can shoot the ball anywhere. They're all over the place. You don't like that?
The issue is well, at this point, it has affected Jordan Poole's productivity tremendously. Now, I don't want to say that that's the only thing affecting his productivity, because if you listen to him after, I believe it was game 5, when the NBC reporter kind of said that his back was towards the reporters in the locker room, and it was quite, there's a mental block between what he was normally able to do and what he has done throughout multiple series since this playoff run for the Golden State Warriors.
Weak.
So I'm not going to put it all on Draymond. But the fact that he says, I don't know what to tell you, it's business, it's basketball, means to me there's still a level of contention between them.
Right.
And I get it. Naturally, if somebody punches you in the face, you're not going to be buddy-buddy with them. I get it. But if the goal is to win a championship, and the goal is to win series, and the goal is to win games.
That ain't the goal anymore. For me, the goal is to get my get back.
Well, then that's a problem.
I waited 3 months to
If
get
you're-
Omar
if you're-
to get Omar back. You know who Omar is? Omar hit me just like Draymond hit Jordan in college. I was sitting there in my locker at UCF, the old Wayne Dent Center, tying up my cleat. We got into it in one-on-ones on the court, on the field. A day later, the next day, 8:45 in the morning, I'm sitting there tying my cleat. Omar come in, hit me, bam.
That's
My
crazy.
whole face was swole like this, Ashley.
What?
You know my dad, as an OG, you know what he told me? He said, wait. He said, just wait, son. Don't do it right now. Everybody watching. I waited 3 months to get my get back.
Oh, my God.
3
But you know
months.
what, though, Brandon?
I caught Omar Kelly outside of the skating rink, and we squabbled for a long time. For about 45 minutes till we both was tired. We was throwing punches like this, right there. It ain't about no championship.
To be fair, that's a problem. That mindset is a problem because at the end of the day, you getting your lick back should not supersede what the goal of the team is, and that is to win a champion. I understand.
I know, but here's the problem.
I understand an ego, and I understand pride, and I get all of that. I'm not negating that.
Here's the problem.
But if that's going to supersede
that's right.
winning a championship,
That's right.
if that's going to go ahead and block your ability to just play with this man for 4 quarters of basketball,
They did that. They've been doing that.
Then that is a problem, and you have to go.
They've been
if
doing
that
that.
is
and
going
that's-
to
yes.
block you,
So
to
now
that
we know this
degree,
is the case
you guys
study.
cannot exist together.
So here is the case study. We know this now. If a player get into this type of altercation, somebody has to go. Why? Because it affects the chemistry, not only on the court, but also when we travel, when we're in the locker room, because guys have to take sides. And that's a clear division between your team. You go from having this continuity and having everybody together and having jail to now guys is like, do I sit with Jordan or do I sit with Draymond? That's why you got to let one of those, they should have let somebody go in camp. And also we got to keep in mind that this was public.
It's not. But that's,
I hear what you're saying,
it's not the
Ashley.
point, though, Brandon.
The
The point of the matter is that should not supersede the
yes,
goal.
yes, it do.
They
Ashley,
gave
somebody
this-
punch
they
you
gave
in the face.
They gave this man $130
I
million.
don't matter. They punched him in the face.
To be
I
productive
get
on
you.
the court to
I
give
get-
me
I hear
20
what you're
points
saying.
a
I hear
game.
what you're saying.
So you're
yes,
gonna allow
yes,
a
he's
punch
still
in the-
supposed to do his job.
And he's
but
not
what
doing
I'm saying,
it.
What I'm saying is, Ashley, if someone hit you in the face, okay, basketball, work, that changes things. Come on now. Like you're expecting this guy to come in and still be buddy, and that's not what you're asking. That's not what you're saying.
I'm
That's
just
not what you're
asking
saying.
you to put the goal of the team.
He did that.
No, he
just
didn't.
sucked. He just sucked.
He didn't do that because
And he was with Ice Spice. It's probably we need to be talking about Ice Spice. It ain't Draymond. It's probably Ice Spice. Sometimes that's the distraction. Is that her name, Ice Spice?
That's a rumor. I don't know if that's true. I'm not going to speak on that.
That's a big rumor.
I'm just going to simply say short and sweet. If they are unable to coexist with each other, and it may be more Jordan at this moment in time than it is Draymond, which is understandable because it happened to Jordan, and I'm not negating his feelings, and I'm not saying he doesn't have the right to maybe feel how he's feeling. But if they are unable to coexist with each other, then one of them has to go. It's as simple as that.
He couldn't try to go holler at one of the Bailey twins, the Bailey sisters, or Zendaya. Was Zendaya's wife?
Zendaya's busy.
She's busy. Like, come on, let's name some of the other people. Now you're getting into his like.
I don't know if that Ice Spice thing is actually real.
His decision making.
Oh my God.
Like you single? You outside? You can DM anybody? And you go Ice Spice? Can we go like Lori Harvey?
Right.
You know, her relationships is what, 5-6 months? So you could be on the front side of that. Hey, I'm just here. I'm just in the cut waiting. You know what I'm saying? Think about that. That doesn't highlight his decision making.
I don't know if that actually even happened.
Who else is out there that's be a good catch? Who else is out there, Ashley?
I'm not gonna speak on this man's dating life. There are plenty
Kendall
of people.
Jenner is he going to be the next one on the Kendall Jenner roster?
Oh my God, there are plenty.
Kylie Jenner. Who else is out there,
Kendall's
bro?
the one that dates the basketball players.
This is your demographic. Now we're gonna get into this.
Oh,
give us the top. Give us the top 10. Give us 5.
10.
5 women out there that you would, you know what I'm saying, that you would recommend to Jordan Poole.
Jordan Poole. I don't know. I'm trying.
Come
to
on,
think.
bro.
He got to
get into
ice
taste.
I mean, he got to do his little Ice Spice deal. He got to land that one. Who's another one?
Seneska. Saniska, the
what?
Jamaican artist, the reggae artist.
Who's another one?
Sencia.
I don't even know who that is. Actually.
Oh, see y'all. Yeah, okay. All right, go. Who else?
Who? Mulatto.
Jordan.
It's Lotto now.
Oh, it's just Lotto.
Ain't Lotto and Ice Spice in the same category.
Yeah, I was saying maybe that's his speed. Maybe he liked the rappers. I don't know.
You can't give me 5.
I'm trying to think. I mean, I don't know what Jordan Poole's speed is.
Aren't you single?
Huh?
Aren't you single?
I'm not thinking celebrities.
Are you
and whatnot.
single?
I'm single.
Who you follow?
Mulatto.
Lotto.
Lotto.
Mulatto.
That was her original name, Lotto.
I know, but you can't. That's not politically correct.
It's not correct.
What about Coy Ray?
Coy Leray?
Coy Leray.
I don't know if that's Jordan Poole's speed.
What? What about Bia? BIA? What?
Actually, what are we even talking about right now?
Are you uncomfortable with this conversation?
I just don't care.
Somebody
Like who he dates is none of my
Bia?
business. I just don't.
SZA. Somebody said SZA.
SZA, she just had a kid.
I'm looking at the comments now.
SZA?
Yeah.
I don't think SZA had a baby. No.
Yeah.
You talking about Summer Walker?
Summer Walker?
Summer Walker and SZA are two different people.
Okay,
I think that's who you were thinking of.
Summer Walker's with Lil Meech, ain't she?
Yeah.
I don't know.
This is Brandon Marshall, Ashley Nicole Moss, Corey in the cut, Corey Holmes. We had Steven Jackson earlier. We're on Sirius XM for everybody watching us. Faction Talk, channel 103. So big shout out to Faction Talk. Really excited about you guys having the opportunity to listen to us as well. You know, be safe if you're driving. Don't watch us, listen to us. You can also hear us on any audio platforms, wherever you get your podcasts. Ashley, can you give us 2 people that our guys, our young athletes should potentially put on their board?
No.
Anybody.
No, absolutely not.
Ashley doesn't want to talk about it. All right, when there's something you want to talk about, Ashley,
I just don't care enough.
I care. Though.
Okay, so then you give them rosters to
I
choose
can't.
from.
I'm old. I'm about to turn.
I got a little football. If you guys want me to save the conversation, you want to talk a little bit of football?
No, don't bring it back because Ashley's not going to be interested.
I don't care enough.
Yeah,
about who's dating.
Ashley Nicole Moss.
I just don't care.
Oh, I thought you were about to say something.
No. I'm waiting for the football.
Okay, yeah, football. So, the Kansas City Chiefs, they're set to play the New York Jets at MetLife Stadium October 1st. This matchup is actually going to be the first matchup between Patrick Mahomes and Aaron Rodgers. So I wanted to ask you guys, who you think is going to win that first matchup, Mahomes or Rodgers?
Mahomes.
Yeah. It's in MetLife too. You think they're
I
going
feel
to go
like
in New York?
the Jets.
It's New Jersey. Come correct, Corey.
Sorry.
Have some respect.
Obviously, you guys know I'm a big Jets fan. wore my Jets rollie today when I won the Super Bowl. The Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
I wish.
You mean the Pro Bowl? The Pro Bowl?
Yeah, when I made a Pro Bowl playing for the Jets, I invested in a watch. Every time I made a Pro Bowl, I would take the earnings and invest in a nice watch or a nice Rolex. And I got this. It represents the Jets season that I had. I also have on, if you guys can look, maybe give me a wide. I got my Jets dunks on and my Jet socks. My Jet green water bottle with my electrolytes inside. Right? So big Jets fan, okay? And I'm saying all that because I'm not biased like you when we talk football.
I mean, you also have net
Cowboys.
socks, so like.
Okay, we'll get back to this. We're talking football now. I think the Jets have the edge. They have the edge because they have the better defense, right? So when you think about it, I think the coaching, it cancels itself out. You look at quarterbacks. The quarterbacks cancel itself out. Patrick Mahomes is trying to take Aaron Rodgers' spot as the most magnificent thrower that our game has ever seen. But I think they cancel themselves out. I also think that the Jets have the better run game. You have Hall coming back. All right,
that's true.
And then on the defensive side, you have a top 5 defense versus mid to the bottom of the barrel.
Yeah, I think they would probably. I think they fall between 15 and 20 maybe.
Yeah, you talking? Well, it's probably 7. Fact checker, Woo. Where's the Kansas City Chiefs defense ranked? Can we see that? It's probably close to that, but I would say like 22.
I would say, yeah. I mean, I'm going 15-20 range.
Maybe
but.
Spags surprise us, and maybe they're a little higher than that. But I to answer your question, Woo, what we got?
I'm ready. So right now, it was done in April 27th by World Sports Network. They have them listed as number 20.
I was right, 15-20 range.
Yeah.
Right at the edge.
Astradamus?
No, that wasn't Astradamus. That was just kind of gauging based on did a quick.
You are really
hurt. I did a quick recall of the defenses in my head, and that was the range I came up with. How you know
all this stuff?
It was just a quick recall. It was just a quick recall. I kind of just quickly went through the teams in my head, and I was like, they got to be 15-20.
I got to really study if I'm going to sit on the show with you every day. Ashley be knowing.
She do.
How she know that? She said 15 to 20.
I did a quick recall of the team. I just did a quick scan.
Scan in your head.
Quick scan. Like Rain Man at the poker table when he was like.
Okay, do we have another football question?
No.
We do. And this is actually like a clip opportunity. So like you guys will be able to kind of refer back to these clips if you predict it right. So there were 4 teams. Remember, we were kind of talking about the NFL schedule and whatnot. It released last week, Thursday. And 4 teams they don't have any primetime games. Those teams are the Texans, Falcons, Colts, and the Cardinals. And I wanted to ask you guys, because of, the flex scheduling that the NFL has implemented.
Colts.
Yeah. From week 12 to week 17, they can flex some games. So of these teams, which teams do you think could force themselves into a primetime matchup?
The Colts.
For sure, the Colts, Anthony Richardson. And Ashley, also, don't be surprised if the Cardinals have a phenomenal year if they keep DeAndre Hopkins, and that's a big if, right? Like,
I can see that.
There's a lot of talk. Is he going? Is he staying? If he stays, again, I'm leaning to the storyline. On paper route, front page, Kyler Murray changes the course of his career, gets back on track, recovering from ACL, comeback player of the year. DeAndre Hopkins, top 5 wide receiver again. You like that story or no?
I'm not mad at it.
You're not mad at it? Can you see it happening?
I can see the headlines.
You can see the headlines?
I can see it. I can see the Twitter feed.
The Texans, no, I don't see anything happening there. Corey, what's the quarterback's name for the Falcons that I like?
Desmond Ritter.
Ritter?
Yeah, Desmond
Ritter. I think the Falcons can be a scary team, but if I have to put my money on it, I'm going with Colts 1 and Cardinals 2.
Yeah.
I'm excited to see what Kyler Murray does.
Me too.
All right.
I think that's it. I think that's a wrap.
That's it?
That's a wrap, folks.
Hey, Astradamus, did I say that right?
You want the lotto numbers?
I don't want the lotto numbers. 2-2 early prediction. This is a 2-2 early prediction.
Okay.
Who wins the Super Bowl? The
Dallas Cowboys.
And that is the show, folks. Oh my goodness, yeah, right.
One of these days, I'm a man. One of these days, I'm gonna say it, and it's gonna happen. And I'm just waiting for that day. So every year, every year, I say the same thing because I know that one year I'm going to be right. So the Dallas Cowboys win the Super Bowl this year. Las Vegas, book it.
We'll be. What do you got? Oh, he want to ask who I'm
The
picking.
New York Jets.
Let's do it. No. What? Let's. Can we do that tomorrow, Corey? Let's do that tomorrow. Can you pull up like the odds?
Yeah, we can get that.
And let's pull that up, create a graphic, and then let's go through it tomorrow. Because I'm gonna put my money on somebody early. Like I'm not gonna wait. I'm not gonna wait till September. I'm not gonna wait till the action happens and things change. This is the opportunity to really get a bang for your buck. Seriously.
Yeah.
Ashley, I appreciate you.
Likewise.
Corey, I appreciate you.
You already know, man.
Woo, fact checker, I appreciate you. And everybody out there, we appreciate you, our team. We love you. We'll see you tomorrow live on YouTube. Also back on Faction Talk, Channel 103, Sirius XM. See you tomorrow. Bye.